Well, aloha, everybody. Thought I'd mix it up this week. Um, we are in week 11. Everybody's doing great and loving the work that's been done so far. What I am going to cover in this video is our week 11 assignment, that is the document properties. This is a cool one because we're going to deal with a lot of different areas that have to do with document properties. So we're going to be doing some style settings. We're going to go in and actually modify some of our styles and themes. We're going to be modifying colors. We're going to insert an image, modify the colors of the image, make sure it's the exact location that we want, and then we're going to mess with some document properties. Document properties are really neat, but they can cause problems if you have some really wonky or really weird document properties. Company that I worked for before, we had some issues with document properties where documents wouldn't open up or they take several minutes. So be very careful with them. And we're going to dig right in. This is going to take just a little while, but don't worry, we got some time here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to download the raw document, which I've already downloaded. And I will show it to you here in just a second. So here's our raw document that we're going to download. And you want to make it look like, where's our, there we go. You want to make it look like the example. It's a PDF that's on the assignment page that you can download. This is the example right here. You can click on the arrow to download it, or you can click on the link and it'll show the example there. I just have it in a much larger screen size here so you can take a look. If I snap my window here and go to the Word document, snap that to the left, you can see the raw document, and then this is what the completed document will look like. So there's a couple steps, actually several steps that we're going to follow to get to this point. First thing I'm going to do is expand that screen, make it a little bit larger, expand this one so you can see the document, the information here for the assignment. First thing we want to do is we want to add heading 1 and heading 2 styles to the appropriate places in the document. So this is going to be a heading 1, it's the main heading. And then these subsequent headings are going to be heading 2. Don't worry about them looking exactly like the example. We're just defining them as headings right now. So I think I have one more here. There we go. Now I've defined them as heading 1, and then these subsequents as headings 2 and beyond. And you notice it does not look like the example, and that is okay. The next step is that we want to apply the line simple style set. So what that means is that we're going to go to the design tab in the document formatting group, and we're going to select the line simple style set. So I'm going to just put my cursor just anywhere. So we're going to go to design, and in the document right here, the style sets, I want to choose the one that is line simple. If you hover over one, it automatically changes your document. I haven't clicked the button, but it's just going to give you a preview of what is happening. But if you keep your mouse hovered over each one, it'll give you the name. So this one is shaded. If I go down a couple, I'll get to one that's called lines simple. That's the one we want. So you select that. You notice it automatically puts a line underneath the heading 1 and just changes a little bit of the styling within the document. So if I go back to home, now I'm back here, I can see that this is still a heading 1 and this is a heading 2. Next thing we want to do is add a watermark that reads draft. But before we do that, what I want to do is make sure that my headings 1 and 2 look similar in style to our example. You notice that this is a black type, and this is more of a kind of purple, and the font is bigger. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to modify a style. So click up here where you have developing an information system. You don't have to highlight it, you can just click anywhere in it. Up here where it says heading 1 that I've selected, right click on that and choose modify. And it's going to modify anything with a heading 1 association. I know that this one is called Gill Sans MT. I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to make it a 20 point, just because by the magic of everything, I just know what it is. Then you click on colors over here where it has a color drop down, choose black, and click OK. And you notice now it looks very similar to what we had before. Then I'm going to go down to the heading, the project plan. I'm just going to click on it anywhere. I'm going to choose heading. It's already selected as heading 2. I'm going to right click on it and choose modify. This one, it has a different color associated with it. So it's in the purple family. So what you can do is under the colors, choose more colors. And I know it's pretty close to over here-ish. Don't worry about getting it exactly right. Just in the purple family. I'm going to click that one. And I know this one's going to be Gill Sans MT again. And I know this one is 18-point font. And when you do that, now you notice that it made those larger. So project team, project plan, those are now the right color and the right size. Okay. Now what we want to do is go back to the assignment information. And we want to add a watermark that reads draft. This is super simple. So don't worry about where your cursor's at. Just put it on the first page if you want. We are going to go to Insert, Design. And we're going to go to Watermark and choose the one that says Draft. It's under Disclaimers. And it's a draft with the kind of the angle on it. And you'll notice that it added it to all of the pages. So right now there's 2 pages and it added the watermark draft to all the pages. Next item is we want to use the building blocks organizer and add an integral style footer and change its color to something that is reddish in color. And then add your name to the footer. And I'm going to show you a little hint for adding your name to the footer. And you just want it reddish in color. What that means, for those who may not have English as their first language, somewhere in the red family, a red type of color. Okay, so we're going to use the building blocks organizer to add an integral style footer. Go back to the document. I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to go to Quick Parts. And under Quick Parts is the building blocks organizer. So if I click that, what you want to do is sort it. By default, it may not be sorted. It may come in some weird order. I always click on the name, column, heading, and then it will sort everything for me alphabetically. I know I need the integral footer. You notice it gives a little preview here. It's the name and then a page number. So we want the integral footer. Select that and click on Insert. You'll notice that it comes up with the name Sandy Granberry. She's one of our instructors who helps create these documents, and she is considered the author of this document. So one of the instructions for this was to add your name to the footer. And I'm going to get to that in just a second, but first thing I want to do is address this color. And what we want to do is go back to the Design tab. My cursor is right next to the number, and that's fine. Go to Colors, and I know this one is, remember, it's a reddish. That's what we said in the instructions. It's a reddish color. Change its color to something that is reddish. So we just want something in the red family, but I want it to be close to what we have in the example. So if we look down here, it's kind of purplish, not really in the reddish family. So just get it as close as you can. Or choose a red color that you like. I know that kind of yellow-orange, or I'm sorry, orange-red gets me about where I need to be. So that's an orangish color. Gets me close enough. And then the next thing that we're going to be doing is document properties. And the first thing we want to do is look at the name that's in the footer. So you notice if I select Sandy's name, it now says author right above. If I modify this name, it's going to modify the author property for the entire document. So I'm going to put my name. Don't worry about uppercase, lowercase. This font, this particular font is going to put it all in uppercase for us, or this particular field. And then if I exit out of the footer, you notice it has my name and the appropriate color for the number. Puts us pretty close to our example here with the footer on there. Has my name. Awesome. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to insert the copyright free image into the document. It's the helping hands image to the right of the project team section as shown in the finished example. So what that means is we're going to take a image, we're going to insert it into the document right next to the project team paragraph. This is where dragging and dropping is super awesome. What I want to do is I want to change my view here. So I'm only viewing one page at a time. I'll zoom in for you. And here's my paragraph that I'm going to want to insert it near. So just, you can put your cursor somewhere in this paragraph. It's fine. And I already have this image queued up in my File Explorer. And what you can do is you can literally just take that image after you've downloaded it and drag and drop it into the document. That's it. You can also do an insert. You can go to Insert, and you can insert an object. You can insert a file. You can come here and you want to insert a picture from this device. For me, just easy. Just drag and drop, and you're done. You save so many clicks. I'm all about efficiency. So the next thing we want to do to make it look just like our example is we need to resize the image, and we need to change the way that it is wrapped with the text. It's called text wrapping. So the first thing I want to do is change this size of this a little bit, get it a little bit smaller. And all I did was just kind of click from one of these dots in the corner. And then you'll notice that this little pop-out option is here, and this is for layout options. And this basically will choose the type of layout or text wrapping that's available for this particular image. So if I click that, I can hover over any of these, and you notice it doesn't change them. So I don't use this one very often, but I can select one of them and it'll change the text wrapping. What I like to do is right-click on the image, go to Wrap Text, and then if I hover over any of the options, it automatically shows me a preview of what's going to happen. So I know this one I want to do is square, and then I'm going to take the image, I'm just going to drag it over here right next to Project Team. Something that Word does automatically is what's called window snap. And it basically, you see these green lines will pop up. There's a green line there, green line there. That means that the image is now lined up with the bottom of Project Team and with the right margin. So if I unsnap it, brings it over here. So if I'm trying to guess where where is it, it automatically does it for me and kind of holds it there as I drag it. So notice this is now pretty close to our example. Difference is that this image is now flipped. Don't worry too much about flipping it. What we want to do is make sure that the image is recolored. Okay, so I put it in red here, change the color of the helping hands image. There's a lot of options that you can do. If you highlight the image, you can go to picture format up here at the top. There's a lot of things that you can do with the picture. There's the text wrapping here. You can have a picture border. You can do different picture styles. You notice it kind of, if I hover over, it gives me some examples of what it's going to do. You can come up here and change the color. There we go. I want to recolor it to be black and white, or kind of a sepia, or a really weird black and white. So just change the color. Change it to any color that you want. The example shows it with no color changes. So if I come over here to the example, it doesn't really change the color, but we want you to. So highlight the image, go to picture format, choose a color. I'm going to choose sepia because that's drastically different than what we had before. You'll notice that the image is a little bit different. They've kind of rotated the image a little bit. You can if you want. I'm not going to go into it here, but you can change the layout of the picture. You can come here and say, I want to change the style, or I want to put it behind the text. You can insert a caption here. We're going to do captioning in a subsequent exercise, but you can come over here to this little squiggly arrow, and you can literally just, I'm going to flip it around, I'm going to put it this way, I'm going to put it that way. You can rotate it. There's a whole bunch of things you can do within this picture format. So I've already fulfilled that requirement. I've inserted the image and changed the color. Now I want to add a smart art graphic similar to the one in the example that has planning, support, implementation, and design. So you'll come here, go down to the bottom of the document, the example document. You can see it says planning, design, implementation, support. I'm going to give you some creative license. Colors don't really matter, but just go ahead and change the colors to something to show me that you know that skill. So we're going to come to the end of the document, and we are going to go to Insert, and we are going to do Smart Art. And then I just happen to know that this is a cycle, but you can go through and look at all the different smart art that's available. I just know the one in the examples, a cycle, and what's called non-directional cycle. So if I select that one, click OK, automatically puts it in and opens up this window, which is called a text pane. So if I'm in the Smart Art Design tab, this text pane, I can turn it on and off. This is the easiest way to modify the text in all of these fields. You notice it has an extra field. I can just click there, backspace, and now it reduces it down to 4. And I know that we need to have planning, design, implementation, and support. So I'm going to just come here to this first one. If I could spell correctly, that would be awesome. Okay, so now I have that done. I've changed the names. So now we have planning, design, implementation, and support. Super easy. If for some reason that text pane goes away, like you're working with something else, oh, I need to change this, you can just double click or just click in there and you can change the name here. That's the same thing. Or if you want this text pane to come back up, you go to Smart Art Design, text pane, and it brings that back up. It's easy. You can even add a new one if you wanted to. Just say enter, but I don't want to do that. So you notice it modifies it as I'm doing that. The next thing I want to do is make sure it looks similar to this. We want you to add some kind of 3D effect. Basically, we just want to know, are you able to modify the style, modify the color? So up here in the Smart Art Design, you can go to Smart Art Styles, and you can do this drop down. There's a whole bunch of different styles that you can use. The one that's in the example happens to be Metallic Scene. So you can do that. Looks just like, very similar to the other one, except the colors now, okay? And so you can come up here and change the layout. So it is just a little bit different. And the continuous cycle gives me that fat arrow. So you can do that if you want. That looks more like the example. But like I said, I'm going to give you creative license. I want to just see if you know how to put in the Smart Art item and if you know how to change the design of it and change the colors. So again, I'm going to click on in the Smart Art area, Smart Art Design, and I want to change colors. And so I can come here and just change en masse, change all of the colors. So let's say I want to change it to something more in the kind of this range. It just kind of changes the colors overall, but it doesn't change the individual colors, so they're drastically different from each of the others. So I can come here and I can change, if I right click on a specific one, I can change the style of it. And so I can change the color, the style. But you can also change the fill. So I want to change this to a red. That's really what we're looking for you to change. So if you click on one of the squares, or the rectangles, right click and choose fill, or you can select that rectangle and go to format and go to shape fill. Either way. I know this one's kind of red. Again, you don't have to make it match exactly. This one actually is a purple, so I'm going to come up here, shape fill. We're going to go with more of a dark purple. This one I'm going to do red-ish. We'll do a dark red. And this one's gray, and then we have a blue. So I'm going to come over here, shape fill, do this one as a gray, and this one as kind of a baby blue, wasn't that? All right, we'll come here. I'll just do that. So that demonstrates that I know how to do a Smart Art design, change the design a little bit, and change the colors. That's really what we're looking for. All right. So now that we have that done, we now want to change document properties. And then we're going to add a screenshot of those changes. So here we go. To change the properties are important because, little secret, that's how we know if it's you that's created the document. Because when you create a document, it's automatically going to put your name in there. And we can tell, hey, it was your brother or someone else. It might be their computer, but we can see that there's something kind of off. So if we go to File and then Info, over here, kind of in the center, maybe on the right-hand side for you, are the properties. It'll show you size, number of words, editing time. We've seen these in the thousands of minutes. Unfortunately, some students will just leave the file open and it just kind of accumulates the editing time. And then you have the author. You notice I changed the name in the footer to my name. If I change just something about it, put some extra characters, and then I go back to that file and then Info, well, it should have changed it here, but it didn't. So let's look at all the properties and Advanced. And generally, it will change the properties of the author, but it didn't. So no worries. That could have been a feature that Word removed in the last couple weeks. All right. So we're going to change some properties here. So we're going to go to File and then Info. And if I click on Show All Properties, it shows me some properties, but it's not going to show me all the properties. So don't stress about it. Up here in the Word Properties, you can click the drop down and choose Advanced Properties. And from here are all the properties that we can modify. And if I want to look and see which ones we want to change, we want to change client, or we want to define client, department, document number, and status. So let's find client, and we're going to use my name, and it's going to be a text field. So we just come here and find client. It's already set for text. I'm going to put my name, if I can spell it right today, and I'm going to click Add. So that added that. Next one is department. And I want BYU Idaho, and it's going to be text. So department, BYU Idaho, it's a text, click Add. The next one is document number. It's going to be 24, and it's going to be number. So document number. And it's going to be a number, and we want this one to be 24. And then the last one is status. We want it to be defined as draft, and it's going to be text. So let's scroll down until we see status. And this one is going to be text, and we want it to be draft. And we click OK. The next thing we want you to do before you click OK on this is to take a screenshot. Now, if you've watched my video on how to take screenshots, you know that I love to use what's called the snipping tool in Windows. So if you just hit your Windows key and type in the word snip, it'll come up. So if I'm over on this window, you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm just hitting the Windows key and typing snip. The snipping tool will come up. Just select new, and everything grays out. And from here, I can drag the rectangle and get that window that I want. You notice it saved it for me. It looks just like that there. So I'm going to come back into my document. I'm going to click OK. And then we want to go back to the document and just create a new page. And if you just do Control V or paste, you can paste that image in there, and that shows us that you changed those fields. We can also look at it in your document, but we want to practice doing screenshots and inserting images into a document. And then that takes us to here, and we added a screenshot of the 4 document properties. And then the last thing we want to do is protect the document with a password. There are times where you want to have your document password protected. There could be sensitive information in there, or it's a document you just want other people to look at, other than yourself or someone that you're sending that password to. So what we'll do is we'll go to File, and we're going to go to Info, and then there's an option to protect the document. So select that and encrypt with password. That's what we want. Now I'm just going to do a few characters. It's going to have me enter it again and click OK. You notice now it says a password is required to open this document. Here's the really, really, really important part. Please remember to tell me what the password is when you submit the assignment. Otherwise, I can't open it and I can't give you points. So when you submit the document through iLearn or Canvas, just put a little comment in there. Here's my password for this document. It can be something as simple as 1234. It doesn't have to be a complex password. There's nothing sensitive in here that we're concerned about. It's just showing me that you know how to do a password. And then you're going to save your document with your name in it, and you're off to the races. Sorry this is a little bit longer than normal. There was a little bit more to it. But feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to help out. And have a great week. Take care.